Hi everyone. Reflecting on Module 1, my biggest takeaway is that competitive advantage with artificial intelligence doesn't come from replacing human decision making, it comes from augmenting it. Having a background in technology management, I've seen that AI systems aren't magical or autonomous decision makers. They provide static inferences based on trained parameters. Ultimately, human accountability, domain expertise, and ongoing governance have to stay at the center of any goal directed workflow. Conceptualizing AI and key distinctions. To conceptualize what AI actually does versus traditional data tools, I like to use a simple visual analogy. A single data point or static record is like an isolated frame of an animation. On its own, it gives you limited information, but when you look at many related frames in sequence, motion and context emerge. AI's core strength is identifying those contextual relationships across huge amounts of data to reveal patterns we can't see from isolated data points alone. That's fundamentally different from traditional automation, which just executes static, rule based tasks like sending a receipt, or traditional analytics, which looks backward to explain past events. AI infers underlying patterns to help us predict future outcomes or generate new content. Debunking myths and the Amazon bias example. We, we also looked at common misconceptions. There's a real gold rush mentality right now where access to baseline models is treated like an automatic strategic advantage, but access alone isn't a moat. One major myth is that algorithms are inherently objective. Because machine learning models are trained on historical data, if that data reflects human biases, the system simply automates and scales those biases. A classic example is Amazon's experimental AI recruiting tool, which penalized resumes containing the word women's because it was trained on 10 years of male dominated hiring data. It shows why human oversight and data auditing aren't optional. Historical evolution and modern context. Tracing AI's history from the 1956 Dartmouth Conference through expert systems, statistical machine learning, and deep learning shows how we moved from narrow, specialized applications toward general purpose, accessible capabilities. The introduction of the transformer architecture in 2017 by Vaswani and his team was a huge milestone here, enabling modern foundation models and generative tools that integrate right into daily workflows like email drafting or executive decision support. Personal reflection and strategic conclusion. In my own career, I've seen human and critical human context is when interpreting data in a sales environment I managed. Standard metrics showed calls dropping off late in the presentation, which looked like a failure in closing, but qualitative analysis revealed that reps using an aggressive upfront qualification pitch were actually weeding out bad leads efficiently. The quantitative metric tracked where calls ended, but without human context. Management drew the wrong conclusion. In my work, however, I encounter an innovative AI tool. My default question is always, how could I recreate or apply what this company is doing? Real value comes from understanding the underlying logic, anchoring it in an operational reality, and using AI as a force multiplier for human judgment. Thank you.